Welcome to tuko.co.ke interviews. I am with PLO Lumumba. Many people do not know your middle name.
Lumumba.
Yeah, they don't always know that L, what it stands for.
They think they know.
They think it's Lumumba. So we are going to talk about a book. My name is Samuel Meso. I forgot to tell you my name. We're going to talk about a book that is soon being launched this month. It will come. It will be launched this month at the end of it, and we want to know what does PLO think about the book. Yeah. So, Prof, thank you very much. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm very fine.
You're doing well?
I'm not complaining. By God's grace, I'm alive and kicking.
You've come at a time that you're really in a rush, you're heading somewhere.
Yes, indeed. I'm traveling, so I'm in a rush, but I'll be sensible and answer your question sensibly to the best of my ability.
Yeah, so there's a new book in town which you're holding.
Yes.
The Raila Conspiracy. It's coming at a time which is at a time when we have the election fever here. But what is your general opinion about the book? If you've read it, if you've seen it, yeah, of course you've seen it. If you've heard about it, what is the general opinion?
I'm aware of this book. The young Newton Babior conceived this idea and shared it with me, and I encouraged him that as a young person is entitled to make a commentary on a public figure, and that public figure he happens to be Raila Odinga. And I think that the young man has taken time and expended quite some intellectual energy in giving his perspective on what he describes as the Raila Conspiracy and what he calls the secrets behind denying him the presidency. There are those who will debate as whether that is a conclusion that is correct, but that is neither here nor there. That is Babior's view, and he is evidence-based, and that is all we want. And I think that is a good book. And this is a young man. The courage with which he has written, the passion with which he has written, is possibly without precedent in this country for a young man of his age. He's to be praised and commended at once.
Yeah, he's barely 30.
Yes.
And Newton is barely 30. This is such a huge step for him. So in the book he says that the elections that we are heading to are already rigged. At some point he says that the rigging started when the government started pushing for the both manual and digital systems to be used during the elections. What do you think about elections in Kenya? Have we reached a point that we can have credible elections?
Of course we can. Of course I don't agree with him that the elections are already rigged. I hold the view that when you have an electronic record, you need another backup, and a manual backup is a good thing. The only problem that we have in Kenya is that we have these conspiracy theories. And my own view is that that is his opinion and he's entitled to it. And if he has evidence to back it, then we respect evidence. But I hold the view that we must give institutions the benefit of doubt. And I think that we'll be sufficiently vigilant to ensure that these elections are held in a credible fashion.
The book is set to be launched on the 27th of this month, this is June. It comes out at a time when the election fever is here. We just are barely 57 days to the elections. Do you think it's the right time for it to be launched? It's quite controversial.
Every time is the right time. There is no right or wrong time. And I think that is timely for us to begin to interrogate this issue. There is a sense in which we have had problems with Kenyan elections. We have had problems with elections in 1992, 1997. 2002 was spared that kind of problem, 2007 and 2013. So Kenyans ought to debate. And one of the most important things that must happen in terms of creating an environment that will allow for free and fair elections is for us to forewarn ourselves that if we don't hold credible elections, then we threaten the very well-being of the country. So I think that the launch is timely.
He's invited you to the launch. Can you confirm you'll be there?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be there. I'll definitely be there to, first of all, to support a young Kenyan who has had the courage to write about one of the most controversial figures in post-independent Africa, post-independent Kenya, Mr. Raila Odinga. That does not mean that I support everything that is in the book. There are quite a number of things that are said in the book with which I do not agree. But I don't have to agree with everything because that is his perspective and that is what intellectual scrutiny is all about. This young man ought to be praised, and I'll be there to support him.
Lastly, what can you tell young authors who are coming up and they want maybe to come up with something as big as Babior? What can you tell young
I
authors?
must tell young Kenyans that this young Babior has trailblazed, this young Babior has done something that is good and commendable. And this is a young man which any government, including the present administration, should give an opportunity to express himself and to exploit his talent. I hope that out of this, President Kenyatta will see the wisdom of giving him a head of state commendation, just for the courage of writing a book such as this. I pray and hope that that will happen, the contents of the book notwithstanding. So young men, emulate another young man like yourselves. Come and support this young man.
Yeah, before I let you go, there's a problem in the country right now, and it's not just in the country, even in Africa, we might say. There's no reading culture. The reading culture is going down. Yet there are people like Babior who are coming up to write books. Do you think their careers are threatened?
No, they are not threatened. It used to be said by Afro-pessimists that if you want to hide anything from an African, put it in a book. It will never be found. There is a sense in which we must now reclaim territory, and I can't agree with you more that Africans don't read. We are very oral. But going forward, we must read, and the very fact that a young man has chosen to put pen to paper in this way marks and heralds, if you may, a new beginning. And that new beginning is what we must seize so that we encourage ourselves to read and therefore to acquire knowledge. This is the age of knowledge. And societies will grow or collapse depending on the kind of knowledge that they possess.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you too.
Yes.
Thank you.